Hello everyone. It's Monday, July the 25th. This is the feast of St. James the Apostle. This is James, the son of thunder, the brother of John. So this is actually, he was the first one to be martyred for the faith. This is, I believe, just checking here, I believe this is actually James the Greater. I always get the greater and the lesser mixed up, but for some odd reason. So the first reading is from the New Testament. It's taken from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 7 to 15. We have this treasure in clay vessels so that it may be made clear that this extraordinary power belongs to God and it does not come from us. What a better, a great way to sum up, God's election, his choice of the men we now call apostles, the 12 apostles, and all the great things he did through them, establishing the church, forming its foundations here in this world. We have this treasure, this treasure of God's grace, of God's very life, in vessels of clay, in our human nature, in our human soul, so that it may be made clear that the extraordinary power belongs to God. So all the great things done by the apostles, it's impossible they be done, by God, by human power alone. And even just not only the establishing of the church, but the spreading of the church, that it took hold and spread like wildfire through the country. So this is, how God has blessed us in so many ways, how he has started the church. So St. Paul is basically just teaching us what, not only about himself, and we can of course apply this to St. James, but we can also of course apply it to our own selves. And that's what's really important for us, is that we apply it to ourselves. We first of all thank God that he actually chose James the Apostle, but that we apply this to our own selves, that we are vessels of clay, and that he has given us a tremendous grace, to fulfill our own vocation in life. So St. Paul goes on to say, we are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair. So you see, in this reading, he goes through all the human things that he experienced, but because of God's grace, he was able to accomplish great things for God's glory. And this, of course, this is said very much of St. James, even more so perhaps. And it can also be said of you and me as well. That if we allow God to accomplish these great things in our life, then it will happen, but we have to cooperate. Over to Matthew chapter 20 for the gospel. The mother of the sons of Zebedee came to Jesus with her sons, and kneeling before him, she asked a favor of him. So she wants her sons to sit at the right and left hand of Jesus. He says, basically, you don't know what you're asking for, and they don't. Or they don't know what, they're allowing their mother to ask for. And then he says, can you drink the cup that I will drink? And they said, yeah, we can do that. But he doesn't tell them at that point, right? Because they probably would have turned around and ran for the hills if he had told them what kind of future awaited them, because Jesus could see their future. But he doesn't chastise them. He doesn't say, I can't believe you're so full of, you're just trying to get a one-upmanship on the other 12. He uses this as a teaching point, because when they heard it, the other 10 were angry with the two brothers. But Jesus called all of them and said, you know that among the Gentiles they are lorded over, and their great ones make their power felt. This must never happen to you. So our Lord uses this incident to highlight the importance of service, that power is given to every one of these individuals. They're going to found churches all over the world, and they're going to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. But this power is given with a great responsibility, and that is ultimately for God's honor and glory, and to serve their brothers and sisters. Imagine how the world would be much different if everyone used their power in that way, for God's honor and glory, and to serve their brothers and sisters, not for their own aggrandizement, their own ego, their own sort of self-love and so on, to acquire more and more power just for the sake of having power. So today, every one of us in some way has responsibilities given to us, and perhaps even just real power. Ask God to purify it, to rectify your intention, to help you use it for His honor and glory and for the true good of others around you. God bless you.